Hi, thank you for your question, and as a preface, I will be discussing DV in this video. The first warning sign, in my opinion, that really stands out in most situations is isolation. It got to the point, like, I remember my aunt was in town, and my mom and aunt wanted to go out, like, to dinner with me. It was a thing we did when she came and visited a lot, and I was not allowed. I remember it being so awkward because, like, I had to tell my mom, like, well, I could go, if I can bring him with me, and they're just like, what? Like, what? My dad and I, we've always been like super close, like we're like best friends. And he noticed, of course, that I was really isolating myself and he suspected like something wasn't right, like some shit was going down. So he moved next door. I had cousins in the area, so my dad literally he moved right next to me, so that he could keep an eye on things. Another thing I'd look out for is statements such as, I would tell my family, like, if anything happens to me, like, he did it. And, of course, they took those statements seriously. But I think when anybody makes a statement like that, it's kind of like it's shocking initially, but then not much is really done about it. And to be fair, like, what can you do? You know what I mean? But when someone makes statements like that, they come from a very desperate place, even if they act completely composed while they say that. I remember one time, I was completely gone, like completely, I was so high. He was too, but I remember like feeling like really nervous, cause it was just too much for me, and I was like, "Hey, what would you do if I died right now?" And he said, "I'd bury you." I'm like, "You'd bury me? You wouldn't like call paramedics just in case or anything?" He's like, "Absolutely not. I'd bury you. I'm a felon. If you're dead, what do you think's gonna happen to me?" And by the way, that was in the beginning of the relationship. That was like the foundation. And I remember one time being in the shower and this overwhelming like feeling came over me that I needed to tell somebody that if something happens to me, he did it. Like I can't let him get away with it. So I told my mom, but I said it in a very like constructive like or just like composed manner. Like I was like, "Hey, I'm just saying this, because I think it's important to say like if anything happens to me, like did it, you know what I mean? It's not a big deal. We've just been fighting lately." Like I tried to really downplay it so it didn't sound as bad, but statements like that need to be taken really seriously. You see all the time on the ID channel, they'll be like, so and so said to me that if like their spouse killed them, they did it. You know what I mean? And then it ends up happening. As far as tips go, I unfortunately have none. There was next to nothing anybody could say to me to make me leave that relationship, even if it was going to cost me my life. I didn't leave until I almost lost custody of my son. That was my wake up point, but it's not everybody's.